This is Star Wars Vlogs. I'm BstMstR, that's Don Chaos, and we're talking about characters who could be appearing in Episode 7, the beginning of the next trilogy of Star Wars movies. And we all know that Harrison Ford is officially signed on. Is this a good thing, or are we in trouble, Chaos? What do you think?
Well, you have those people who are complaining that Harrison Ford is too old to be an actor. I'm like, how? He's still making movies. Sean Connery, who was the original James Bond, is still making movies every now and then.
But the question is, if they brought Sean Connery back to play James Bond at the age he is now, is that something the fans would be into? And that's a completely crazy comparison, because James Bond is always brought in as a fresh, new face, and they change the actor often for James Bond, because that's I mean, he is always going to be young and dashing and heroic, and he's got his vices, the way he's his martini shaken not stirred, he's got women in every zip code. James Bond is always going to be in his prime or on the verge of losing his edge, and therefore, is he going to be back in his prime again? If Sean Connery came back as James Bond, that would be pretty fucking hilarious, but it would be a different type of movie.
A retiring James Bond and his son is taking over that he never knew of.
I mean, they toyed with that idea with Indiana Jones in the Crystal Skull when they had what's his name, LaBeouf, come in as Indy Jr., and at the end he was like about to put the hat on, and then Harrison comes by, he's like, not so fast, fucking short stuff, puts that hat back on his own head. Now, I heard the rumor that Harrison held Star Wars for ransom so that he could get Indiana Jones 5. What do you think of that?
Well, I did hear something about that. I don't remember where, though.
Whether or not it's true, how fucking awesome is that? Where he's like, oh, you want me to jump back into that Harrison Ford role? Well, I tell you what, only if you let me do another Indiana Jones. How do you like them apples? I just love the idea that he's like, look, if you're going to suck me into another trilogy for this huge motherfucking conglomerate of a, empire of McDonald's toys and, just everything that comes along with Star Wars. That's what I'm saying. Harrison Ford holds all the chips, and he's not too old. There's no comparison. Sean Connery played his dad in Indiana Jones. It's not appropriate for him to come back as 007, but I think if Indiana Jones was to do a 5th installment, I say bring on his son, bring on his dad. Let's have a family affair. It'd be like Lethal Weapon 5. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It'd be like Lethal Weapon 4. You've seen the Lethal Weapon movies, right?
No, I haven't.
You suck. I'm just kidding. Those are good movies, though. And I remember they brought in Chris Rock on the last one, and introduced him. At the end of the movie, they're one big happy family. It's a great movie. All of the Lethal Weapon movies are decent chapters in a big story. That is Danny Glover and Mel Gibson's crazy cop and kind of straight man about to retire. I'm too old for this shit type of cop. Die Hard is still going. I haven't even seen the most recent Die Hard movie. But good for Bruce Willis for keeping that shit going. I think Indiana Jones, it can't get any worse than Crystal Skull. I mean, apparently that's the least popular one. And there's nothing to ruin. I mean, if you're going to say, oh, well, this one was good, that one was good, don't worry. If you're an uber fan of something, don't fucking waste your life worrying whether or not the next installment is going to be good or not. Because let me tell you something. If it isn't good, life goes on. We've all had to deal with this. If you're a fan of the Alien legacy, then you know what I mean. Because after that first Alien Predator mashup movie they made, it all went downhill. And there's life after death when it comes to cinema. Because Prometheus, the prequel to Alien, Ridley Scott, he took that shit back. He took that shit back and he fucking rejuvenated it.